You just can't make the rules.
Exactly. You can't be like, oh,
That's scary to me.
We're going to be in an open relationship, but it's going to be sexually open but emotionally closed, because emotions happen, y'all.
Oh, God.
As much as you don't want emotions to happen, they do.
Yes, they do. And jealousy.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hey, I'm MJ.
And I'm Bree.
Welcome to Keeping It Casual.
A sex-positive dating and relationship advice podcast.
Yes, I'm married with 2 kids.
And I'm navigating this crazy dating world.
We're just here to share our drama.
And the wild stories of our listeners.
Your Vegas girls are here for you.
Let's do it. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Guess what? We have a cheers.
Cheers. We are poolside back at the Keeping It Casual studio.
Yes, we are.
And we are drinking a delicious, made by Bree.
Chocolate.
By the way.
Espresso martini.
Yes. Oh, it's so good.
We have revamped the Keeping It Casual studios because tomorrow we are throwing a birthday party.
That's right. And you know how parties go these days. Super mellow yellow and safely done.
We are doing a socially distanced, fancy schmancy karaoke party.
That's right. We got karaoke. We have a michelada bar. We have, which is going to be / Bloody Mary bar.
Yes.
Of course. I'm making sure everybody's Ubering and getting home safe.
Chips, dips, chains, whips. And we will get back to you more on what happened at party shenanigans next week.
Uncle Charlie has been invited, so we'll see who he arrives.
I can't wait to see Uncle Charlie hitting on all my girlfriends.
I'm really excited because we got an email that kind of really made me do some thinking. It was super juicy. I was like, oh, can I speak on this? Can I relate? So we're very excited to dive into it. I told Brie I'll have to read it to her.
Yes.
But before we do that, let's get into our sponsor.
Like a Kitten. This month, they are really pushing those birthday boxes. And guess what? Because it is my birthday month.
It's everybody's.
It is everybody's birthday month. And we are going to be giving away a birthday box.
That's right. The last Wednesday of the month, all you need to do to enter is go to Apple Podcasts and do a rating and reviewing, because it just helps us get shared more with everybody else. So
yes, it helps.
Ratings and reviews help us.
Don't leave us like a 1-star review, because if you do, that does not help.
Be kind. And you know what? We want to give back. So we're giving you presents, and it'll be a sweet ass Zodiac box from Like a Kitten. Go to their website, likeakitten.com. You can get 20% off everything with our code Keepers20. And they have something really cool coming up the next couple months too.
Yes, but we can't talk about that yet. But we're really excited about it, and we will tell you a little bit more about Like a Kitten later in the episode.
That's right.
Have you been up to anything?
I just training this puppy, and
she's so sweet. This is the first time I've got to meet the puppy, guys,
I know.
and she just came up to me and curled up, and we had a cuddle sesh, and it was she's very lazy though.
Yeah, she's a big old lazy dinosaur.
I can't believe she's 12 weeks and she's that lazy. I was saying that to Chris, and he was like, she's rambunctious, and I was like,
she has her moment. That's what my mom said. She goes, is she okay? I'm like, Mom, she's fine. She sleeps majority of the time. Then she wakes up and bites the shit out of you for like 15 minutes, and then she goes back to sleep.
It's because she's teething right now. That's the only reason why she's biting. God, she's so sweet.
Also, you surviving your first week of this new job.
Yeah, back to work, guys. I realized that I'm kind of spoiled at the executive level. Like I am definitely at the executive level. I had a few days of freaking out, like this is. I'm very out of my element.
I was like, I said, give it to the end of the week, and she cruising here like, I got this.
Yeah, I was just like, this is not. I'm used to events and marketing and this and that and radio. And what do you do after radio? Apparently, after radio, you go do events and marketing for a different company. That's what you do.
I was like, that is so great, because we have so many great connections out here.
Yes, we do.
Just collaborate with. So
yeah, I hate saying this is so ridiculous, but at like the lower levels, there's like a no cell phone policy, but I have to have mine on me just in case my bosses need to get in touch with me. So like, because I am the executive assistant to a COO. That's all I'm going to say about anything. You don't need to know anything else except for I might be getting some lip fillers because of it all.
I can't wait.
I can't wait either. My coworkers were talking to me about Botox today, and I was like, I want lip fillers, and they were like, oh, you should get them.
I know. We were like, how fun.
Ooh, you should.
It's like the most fun and least scary thing to do. You know?
Especially because I don't want too much of a lip filler. But yeah, I just want, like, I don't want full Kylie Jenner. I just want like a little plump.
I love it.
Anyway, so there's like a no cell phone policy, but I have to have mine on me. And then like we have the Outlook calendars, and I realized that like I thought I was going to be doing so much bitch work, but I'm basically in meetings, like in manager meetings meetings every day of my life for now until I don't know.
I love how you said, like, too, you're like, they have food delivered every day. And you're like, I'm back on my salad game. Like, I got my Tupperware. I got my lunchbox. Yeah. She was so excited. And she's like, every day they've been bringing in the food. And you know what? That's how it is at a lot of workplaces. Yeah. They just, like, bring the food. And then you get in this habit of, like, they're going to bring in this today and this today. And then you're eating, like, all this shitty food. Like,
nope. I've been keeping to my salad game.
Hanging tough,
They did Greek one day, though. And so they had the Mediterranean salad and chicken skewers. And I was like, I can't say no to this.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, it's been pretty good. I mean, I had my freak out, but it's okay. It's all right. But they did forget to tell me that you can wear jeans on Fridays. And so I walked in my boss bitch clothes. Oh, yeah. Way overdressed. I was like, and then they were like, oh, yeah, we forgot to tell you. You can wear jeans on Friday. And so I'm sitting in this meeting and everybody's like in their casual Friday gear and I'm in my boss bitch clothes. And I was like, oh, well, whatever. What I've been getting at is the Keurig coffee maker.
Oh, yeah.
The little Keurig. I'm like, every day I walk in, I'm like, I'm going to need like 4 of these. So
nice. You're like, I'm indulging in all of the things. So, but speaking of indulging in all of the things, okay, so this email I read it and I was like, some things, we've gotten some emails and some things and we're just like, I can't relate, pass, like I just love you. Thank you for the feedback, but can't relate.
Yeah.
This is definitely one like can't relate, but I want to know more because it's so interesting. And I was just thinking a lot about it and kind of even fantasizing if it was something that I could even do. But let me just read.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Let me just read the email and we'll see what Bree has to say.
All right.
MJ and Bree, closer to 40 than 30, but still a 30-something lady in need of some advice. Hello. I'm falling for my coworker.
Don't dip your pen in the company ink. That's my advice.
I've been with my husband for 12 years and I still love him.
What?
He's my best friend, but I miss that new relationship feeling and they're probably in best friend territory.
I was just
Remember
thinking,
we were just talking about
we just
that?
Had an episode about this.
When you refer to your partner as your best friend, it's one of those things where you kind of maybe want to change the conversation in your head, like your sexy stud, whatever you want to call him.
Hot piece of ass. I don't know.
Fuck yeah. Yeah. So anyhow, he's my best friend, but I miss that new relationship feeling. Okay. My coworker I am falling for is also married.
What the fuck?
Oh.
Is this some juicy affair?
Yes. Let's see. But he and his wife are polyamorous.
Oh, not a juicy affair.
It wants to be. I am interested in opening up my marriage, but I don't know how to ask my husband. Need your help, Teresa. Damn, girl.
Straight to the point.
I was like, I don't know, like, I don't know if I relate to this, but I'm so
she told me
interested.
She was like, we're going to have to step out of our comfort zone this week. And I was like, what? And then so she starts reading this email. I'm like, oh, affairs. Yeah, I'm going to go on a rant. But actually, this I'm not going to go on a rant about. Did you know Drew Barrymore had this really cool quote that this kind of just like made me think of? She said, love is the hardest habit to break and the most difficult to satisfy. Because love is a drug. Love is an addiction. Everybody loves that new relationship energy.
God, I mean, it's the best, like falling in love and the butterflies, you can't get enough of them. Like,
yeah, but like I'm at the point now where I'm like, I just want to be like old and married and like...
Honestly, when you decide to get married and you get in that relationship, you're like, oh, fuck, this could be it. And like you're dreading the boring nights and the maybe no sex streaks.
See, and
I'm
ready for the boring nights because like everything, I mean, going back to Jocelyn's episode, this is just me, my personal thing. Going back to Jocelyn's episode, all I've had is lightning bolts, you know? So I'm like, I want to be okay with not wearing makeup and just stuff like that. You know what I mean?
God, if I could go back to wearing makeup every day just to be around somebody, that'd be exhausting.
I'm exhausted. Okay, let's talk about polyamory.
I had one thing to say that I could say about this. Okay, I look at it like this. When I want to have a glass of wine, am I drinking because I'm stressed and I just want to forget things? Like, I'm not drinking to let my problems go away. I'm drinking because I feel like I've had a good day. I want to sit down and enjoy this glass of wine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't like to do stuff like that when I'm stressed out. So I look at this as like, if there's something going on in your relationship and you're looking at this to fix it, that might be...
That's bad.
Bad news.
That's bad news.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Okay, here's the way I'm reading it. A lot of people don't realize polyamory is an option. They don't. They don't realize polyamory is an option. And then they meet polyamorous people and they're like, oh, this is something that people do. So, and that's what I'm hoping that, Teresa, that's what I'm hoping you're feeling. Not like, oh, there's something wrong in my marriage and I'm falling for my coworker and blah, 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 blah. So let's open up our marriage.
Yes.
Don't do that. If you do want to open up your marriage, you need to have an honest conversation with your husband. And I'm going to say something that you don't want to hear. You can't date your coworker. Because if you come to your husband and say, I've already fallen for somebody, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Could you imagine being the person's like, if I came to you and I was like, we're life partners, I guess. I can't talk about it in a business sense. I was like, I'm going to go do another podcast. You'd be like, okay, but you're still my number one focus. So whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
So, okay. So pretend we're lesbians.
You can't. I'm not allowing it.
See,
I won't have it.
Exactly. If I came to you and I was like, oh, I met this other woman and I'm falling in love with her. Let's open up our marriage. Like, that would break your heart.
I know. And I would have to be like, well, I'll have to meet her after the heartbreaking and the sulking and the feeling not enough. And then I'd come back around and be like, let's
meet her and
what's going on?
And then I'd hope you'd be a petty little bitch to her. But no, that's the thing though. Like, you can't tell your husband you're falling for somebody else and you're not. You cannot date this guy right now. In the future, sure, but he's off limits right now.
Well, do you think it's just because it's a coworker?
No, because if you come at it from a way where it's like
you've already met somebody,
you've already met somebody, it's never going to work. There's going to be so much mistrust there.
Well, now that you're saying this, okay, may not be able to relate, but I can see how this things can unfold. I feel like you're more open to having an open relationship. This could be something you start to explore and do some research on, and maybe do some fantasy play and talking with your husband. And there's actually resorts that you can go to, and there's like, I don't know how it is right now, but I know there's things and places you can go. But I would maybe kind of feel him out first. This is a little. He doesn't feel like you already got a crush on somebody, and you already got the perfect guy.
Don't talk about that.
Keep him in your back pocket, though.
Maybe just keep him in your back pocket. But he's off. That guy is off limits right now. But definitely have an open, honest conversation with your husband. You've been together 12 years. I don't know if you have kids, but you didn't mention it, so I'm assuming no kids. Feel him out, and you guys can start going to. There's local poly meetups. You just have to look into it. I'm sure they're all on Zoom right now. Yeah, like really reach out to your local poly community because they are going to be your number one source through all of this.
Well, I called my girlfriend because we were chatting. We needed to catch up anyways. And her and her husband have gone through this multiple times. And she's like, here's what we did is like, it happened at times when we were kind of in a lull in our relationship or we were kind of drinking and partying a lot. And it always ended badly.
Okay.
She said one time they had a girlfriend and she was great. She's like, it was cool. She goes, even sometimes they would go out without me or she would call him without me. And then finally we got into a point where we talked and we said, we're going to kind of end this relationship. She goes, but she wasn't ready to end it on the end with him. So for about a year after, it was kind of a struggle to be like she was contacting him and trying to come in between us, and just like she caught feelings hard and it was hard to shake her. She goes, and that was the last time we did it was because people get attached and they get you got to be wondering what are the boundaries in your relationship. And also if you are going to go into something like that, I've heard that she also was saying like, you try to say rules like no falling in love with somebody and no kissing or no, you can't control what's out of your control, but you can set what's important to you in a relationship like this.
Yeah, you got to set boundaries, and you have to be very honest with your boundaries, and boundaries are going to be broken. Can I tell you a secret? It's Libra season!
Oh, yeah. We all got this friend, right? They are deep in the astrology game. I like my girl Bree here.
Yes, I am, because it's my birthday month. October 20th, if you want to send me anything. And guess what? So are our partners at Like a Kitten. They just hooked me up with the Libra birthday box, and it speaks to my Libra love language. And yes, they have them for every sign.
That's right. They don't just do the seasonal subscription boxes filled with essential products and one motorized toy. They've just launched a line of sex toys, and I'm loving my hidden treasure.
And I can't wait to get the Fly Me to the Moon. Just like Goldilocks said, it looks just right. right.
Seriously, class and sensuality all the way is what Like a Kitten's all about. You got to check out the website at likeakitten.com.
Besides the gift of self-love, there are so many options to spoil your friends with a little bit of naughty and a little bit of luxury in every box.
This is why she's the queen of gift giving. And you can be too. Get 20% off the whole site using our code Keepers20 at checkout at likeakitten.com.
And if you want to peek in the box, check out our website, keepingitcasualpodcast.com, for some fun unboxing videos.
That's right. So don't forget, use that code at checkout, 20% off. Keepers20 at likeakitten.com.
Now back to the show. I have a few friends who are in very open, honest poly relationships, actually, now that I think about it.
It's pretty cool.
But
tell me all the things.
One, he told me once, he was like, jealousy is a very big factor of all this. Jealousy is a huge factor. He's like, I've been so jealous of some of my wife's others, and she's been jealous of mine, and we've played vetoes before. Like, you can't be with that person. I veto it. They have. Now, I don't know about other people. Like, I have another friend who is going to be in a polyamorous relationship, who MJ and I both know, and they are going to be our poly experts in a few weeks, y'all.
Yeah, we're so excited.
We are very excited. We were planning on having them on anyway, and then this email came through, and I really wish we would have planned for them to be a part of this email, but that's okay. Like, it'll be, poly part 2. This will be just for you, Teresa. They don't veto each other's partners, as far as I know right now. In the future, could it be something that happened? I don't know. We'll have to ask them. But
I can't wait to ask them all the stuff.
All the stuff. Yeah, and they're both very good at teaching people how to be open, because he was in a marriage that opened up and she was in a relationship that was open, and the good parts of poly and the bad parts of poly, because there are bad people out there who will go under the guise of polyamory but still cheat on you. That is a thing too in open relationships and polyamory. You can still cheat on your partner, which a lot of people don't think that. They're like, oh, we're open, it's not a big deal. But if you're breaking boundaries left and right, and you're not being honest with your partner.
That's what my girlfriend said. I mean, she said it's not about rules, it's about what that relationship looks like to you, because there's a lot of little rules that can't be done.
Yeah.
Now, if it's like one night stand, you're like, all right, no doing this, no kissing on the mouth, I don't want you blowing,
no butt stuff.
Yeah,
It's funny, I had a friend whose boyfriend, who's now ex-boyfriend, one of his boundaries was, you can't have sex in the car with somebody else. When she told me that, I went, well, why? Why car sex of all things?
And does this and then there's that also that weird thing of like, are you ready to see your partner? Like, okay, you're ready to open up. Think about the flip side of this. You're ready to open up your relationship with your husband. And like I said, I think that requires a little bit of fantasy foreplay, a little bit of, and that's a comfortable way to talk about it without making it so serious. Just a little fantasy. Like, what if there was this hot chick, and I saw her at the bar and we were chatting. And what about if we all went back to the room, and little things like that. And what if her man was really cool and you guys are hitting out, if you want to come up and watch us all, like what, play out scenarios, and that way you get into more of a fantasy. And some people might just shut it down, and you kind of know where you stand. But you say he's your best friend, so I'm sure you're able to talk about it a lot. But what you're saying about the rules thing, I heard from my girlfriend too. She's like, rules are ridiculous, but in your partner has to be first. But she's like, you just can't make the rules.
Exactly. You can't be like, oh,
that's scary to me.
We're gonna be in an open relationship, but it's going to be sexually open but emotionally closed, because emotions happen, y'all.
Oh, God.
As much as you don't want emotions to happen, they do.
Yes, they do. And jealousy, like, what I was going to say is, like, say, he's getting all dressed up and getting all sexy to go out on a date one night without you. Like, how's that going to feel? Because those are kind of the situations that you're opening yourself up to.
Yeah, you definitely need to prepare yourself for the harsh realities.
Or is it going to be like you're just dating the same person, So these are little things you decide, and these boundaries and regulations
and
that you're going to have.
This is going to be something that our poly couple is going to be able to touch on more with this. But another thing is, like, you just need to be aware, even with threesomes. Like, I'm going to step out of the poly realm for a moment here. And say you're just like, you know what, I want to gift my boyfriend a threesome for his birthday. You better be prepared for that jealousy that's going to come on, because if that girl sucks his dick better than you do, you're gonna get mad.
I honestly, I couldn't. I just
Monogamy's for some people, polyamory's for some people. And then I was actually reading an article, and I really wish I would have saved it because I didn't know this was coming up. But there are people out there who can go from both polyamory to monogamy. They're fine with either type of relationship, and I think that's pretty cool too.
Well, remember sex phases and dating cycles? I mean, there's got to be ebbs and flows. Now, approaching this situation with a new relationship, I could imagine would be a lot easier.
Oh, yeah.
And that's probably, if you're thinking of something like this and you're single and you're out there, I mean, maybe go into your next relationship like, hey, this is what I'm about. Let's have some fun, you know? But going into this with somebody you've been with for 12 years and you're wanting to be like,
I don't know either.
You might need to get a little ecstasy and loosen things up.
Do some Molly. I don't know.
It's so funny. We keep referencing that. We're not even like partying guys.
No.
So this is like,
this is us dreaming of a party life that we don't have.
This is not our lifestyle, but I can imagine if that's happening, that's also going to need to happen.
Oh my God.
But I think, don't do it because your relationship's in trouble. Do it because you're intrigued with something. But I like what Bree said. She's like, that guy is not, it's not a good idea. It's not a good
yet.
idea. And maybe just planting some seeds,
Maybe later.
Yeah. You can finagle a meet after this whole situation has been played out with your beau and you're kind of like.
You know what might be fun too? If he is receptive to this, you guys downloading dating apps and picking out partners for each other together.
Wow. See, with polyamory, now this is my question. Now, does this mean, so she meets the guy at work, right? He's hot, she's into him, and then finds out he's in a polyamorous relationship with his wife. Does that mean they would date as a couple? Or would she'd date him and then her husband would date other people?
It can happen anyway.
So it's anyway. So these are things you have to, there's so many things.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I know people in polyamorous relationships who, like, she's the main one and they have a throuple over here, but he has another girlfriend and she has another boyfriend, but they still have that throuple situation and they have the two of them and they have other people and it's like
just keeping it casual.
Yeah, I was like, you got to draw like a diagram. It's like a family tree diagram, but it's still fine, whatever. But like, yeah,
wow. But you still have your main person, I imagine.
Yeah, and then there are some polyamorous couples that don't even have like the metas and I don't know. Okay, you guys, I don't know the phrases, but like the main and the not so main people, like, and they're all the girlfriends and the boyfriends are on the same level with each other.
Yeah,
like there isn't a hierarchy. There isn't the hierarchy of sister wives. Is that a good way to say it?
Yeah, no, I get that. Oh, Big Love on HBO. That was such a good show.
Yeah, there isn't first wife, second wife. They're all first wife. You know,
man.
Which I mean, I feel like if I was in that situation, I would have to be first wife because I know my
Well, and you know what? They always are going to have to be your priority. Like you're going to have to work extra hard to make sure that he would know that he is the number one man in your life. Yeah. This is the man that would let you step out of the marriage and explore some kinky fun. Yeah. And giving him an option to do the same. I feel like there's a way to persuade your man. If you really want to.
I think so too. Actually, I want to take back my original statement. I think I could go into a sister wife situation being not first wife if it wasn't my relationship. If it was like people that are like, hey, what's up? What's up with you? Free for lunch? I probably could be like, maybe for a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like being the queen, like that's a tough.
Yeah, exactly.
If you come in as the princess.
Exactly. Yeah, sure. But if like I was already this king's queen and he was like, hey, what do you think about? I'd be like, I'm number one still.
But you know what? It's that butterflies and that initial like excitement of a new romance and stuff.
People get addicted to new relationship energy. It's amazing.
I mean, my new relationship energy to me is me falling in love, though.
Oh yeah.
And if I'm doing that with somebody else, I feel like the old one, for me, the way my brain works, I feel like the old one gonna fade away quick. The main one. I don't know. Like, that's why it's hard for me to relate to something like this. I love it, though. It's so like, I love the stories. I want to learn about it.
I do, too.
But I just feel like that new relationship energy is about, like, people that kind of addicted to love tend to fall into, like, end up cheating or they end up not committing. And because they feel like they're bogged down and controlled by the whole long term of things. And, it's going to get boring. And, there is things, but you got to want it, but
boring.
If you want to switch it up, I don't know. My guess would be talk some fantasy. fantasy about it, because that's a fun way to gauge somebody's.
Yeah, talk some fantasy, Teresa, and then if he seems into the fantasy, maybe go into it with, well, how would you feel about doing something like this in real life? Not just talking about it, not just watching the porn of it.
Aren't there apps that they could go on and like look for other couples?
Field.
Maybe that would be the way to start too. Would be like,
Field.
Let's start with another couple versus just some hot guy you met at work, because then that makes him feel very insecure. Come into it with,
like I said, hot guy at work is not on your radar right now. Sorry, Teresa.
No, girl.
He's not. You
keep him in your back pocket for the fantasies.
But you can't be like, oh, okay, let's open up our marriage, and then a week be like, I've met somebody. I work with him, and guess what? He's polyamorous, and he's the one who told me everything.
Maybe I think the idea might be to like get on one of those apps and get a couple thing going and be like,
look at
what about
Field.
her and him? You know,
but don't be creepy unicorn hunters. Like, don't do that either. There's a lot of couples out there who are creepy unicorn hunters, and then my friends and I make fun of them. So don't do that.
But what if she needs to kind of like lure him in first?
Okay, but there's a way to. There's a
now
way
my
to be.
tricky side's coming in.
There's
well,
a
you
way,
already got to hook up. Now I get to pick one.
There is a way to be a unicorn hunter and not be creepy about it.
Yeah, well, don't be creepy. Period. In this whole thing.
Yes, don't be creepy.
Be cool. Be cool.
Be cool, guys. And then I do want to, Teresa, I hope we helped you. And if not, we do have a polyamorous couple coming on in a few weeks.
And I've never been more excited to chat with them about this.
Her nipples are already hard.
It is, and I even have tequila.
Yes. So, I do want to say though, one more thing about the polyamorous couple that are coming on. I told them they needed to do this because he reads to her over Zoom every night because we're in a pandemic. They can't always see each other, so they have story time every night, and I think this is very cute of them.
Oh my God.
And I think some of their other partners are in on this Zoom story time night too.
This is too adorable. I love
it so. And I found
Maybe
this.
we gotta link Teresa up.
I found this. Do you live in San Francisco, Teresa? I found this ridiculous novel on Amazon, and it is a erotic novel about coronavirus. I can't even get into it.
Oh my God.
But this is the funny story about it. So I sent it to my friend, and I was like, you guys need to read this on your story night. And she was like, oh my God, we do. And it's only 16 pages long, so he read it all in one setting. And she recorded it so I could listen to it because. And I was at work the other day.
Oh my God, can we release it as an episode?
We'll ask them. I swear to God, I hope we can.
If we can, we're sliding it into the Patreon.
It's true. I was listening to it the other day. She sent it to me, and I was listening to it at work because I'm allowed to have like my earbuds in and like listen to podcasts or music or whatever.
That's cool.
So I'm listening to it at work, and just as he's saying, one of the lines in the book was talking about this guy, her love interest's penis, and it said it was the size of an average size python. And I'm listening to this, and he's also talking about they're also talking about like the lady's vagina, and they called it a pocket of ecstasy. So the average size python and the pocket of ecstasy.
Oh my God.
It's all being talked about in my ear, and my boss comes up to me and he's like, oh, hey, how you doing? And I'm listening to average size python penis in my ear. And I was just like, I'm great. Awesome. And I was trying so hard not to laugh.
That reminds me of one of our listeners that went through the bank teller drive-through listening to our episode 69. For shame.
We were talking about anal sex, and she was like,
shame our drunkenness.
we were talking about anal sex and how to lube up anal beads.
Dude, I've done that, like getting out of my car, listening on my Bluetooth, and all of a sudden it's like, yeah, and fucking whatever I'm listening to. It's just always the most inappropriate moment. Even if the show's not even like that, they got dirty at that one moment. I jumped out, and it's just blasting in my purse. I'm scrambling my phone. I'm like, oh.
But it is very fun to have your earbuds in and have erotica in your brain while your Australian boss is asking you if you're okay.
God, that's so good.
Also, don't call vaginas pockets of
I'm questioning this erotica writer. I'm like, what is this like?
Okay, but like at the end,
How
he
many
reads
adjectives?
he reads the about the author, and she lives with 19 ferrets, and she writes like the type of person who lives with 19
God.
ferrets.
She's like, I'm sitting on a pile of all my thesauruses, and we're going deep. Like, she's got 20 novels out right now, and they're all the most odd things you can call. The sizes are off. It's just all wrong.
I think there was a part where they talked about her nipples being hard like Tic Tacs too. So,
well, I've seen those.
Tic Tac nipples.
Gross. Yep. I've seen all the boobies.
Okay.
Someone's worked in a club.
Guys,
Lots of boobies.
If you want to be
exposed.
poly, just be honest.
Yeah.
That's the best advice we could give you.
Don't go in it to fix your relationship. Use it to spice things up and start with a little talking about it through fantasy talk.
We need to get better at writing erotica, y'all. That's
right.
the end of that. I don't have anything else.
Do better, okay?
Do better, everybody.
Teresa, thank you for opening up this juicy conversation. To be continued, absolutely.
Yes.
And if anybody has any feedback or any stories they'd like to share on this, you can always email us. And we love your emails more than anything. It's like getting a present. We're like, we got an email.
Yes, and if you have weird erotica novels that you want us to read,
send them our way.
send them our way. So until next time,
Bye.
Want to be featured on the show? Email us feedback at keepingitcasualpodcast.com.
Want to win cool stuff? Just rate and review us on Apple Podcasts to get into our monthly giveaways.
Last Wednesday of every month. And for more specialty podcasts and bonus content, join us on patreon.com/keepingitcasualpodcast.
Show you're a keeper on Facebook. You can like the page and join our group.
Tweet at us at KICPod or Instagram at keepingitcasualpodcast.
You can find me anywhere at MJ Radio Diva.
And I'm everywhere at Breemixed, BREEMIXED.
And for your one-stop shop, keepingitcasualpodcast.com. Bye.